when I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Take my hat off.
I'm South Carolina, so I just...
gotta be you.
Got it.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
Gotta be me and gotta be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
The doctor lived next door to the janitor to the reverend and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it for all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Gotta be you, gotta be me, gotta be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
Good morning. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. Have
Good
two of
morning,
my favorite
Doni.
people in the whole wide world. Bonjour. Come on, say bye. How y'all doing today?
Just fine.
Doing great, brother. Doing great. How you making out?
Blessed by the best.
Okay. Yeah. The world's
Lisa,
a better
welcome.
world.
We haven't had Lisa for a minute, Joe.
Yeah.
I've been a little bit busy fighting.
Oh, you fighting?
The people in Prince George's, the county council's a tad bit crazy there. They're denying maternal health for Black women and making it difficult for Black elected officials to actually vote virtually. So they're protesting this morning again at 11 a.m. in front of the county council and providing testimony on behalf of Council Member Crystal Oriata, who's currently pregnant, and asking for the ability to vote virtually so that business can continue. However, it's a major fight there with Calvin Hawkins, Mel Franklin, Sidney Harrison. I mean, I don't understand it, but they're not the only two. The shocking part is you have two women who also are not supporting Black women maternal health. So yeah, it's a big issue, and we're having a major problem with getting them to support their own women's right is under attack in this country, and to have to fight for it in Prince George's County, where the minority is the majority, is shameful.
I'm at a loss for words. Joe, we gotta, before we go too far, do a recap of the show from last week. I got a bunch of calls as if what Lisa just said wasn't so. And I gotta tell you, based on last week's show, I was astonished to hear that Councilwoman Wanika Fisher was against it. I thought up until that point, Wanika Fisher was, a worthy public servant. And not saying this makes her worthy or unworthy, but she's also Nigerian American.
Indeed.
And this pregnant councilwoman is of African descent. And I just figured homegirls stick together. That's what I figured.
Well,
Silliness.
the proof is in the pudding. And what's really shameful is I don't really know Juanica that well, and has been trying to get an audience with her so that that could change. We have not been successful in meeting with her, but her statement in comparing a pregnant person in Annapolis coming in sick on crutches, etc., was a poor way. I'm like, what kind of analogy is that to really give a complicated pregnant woman a comparison to someone that's coming in on crutches? I mean, are you serious?
Someone who's never been pregnant, maybe.
Someone who's never been pregnant, yes, exactly. But the insensitivity of it all is just, it's like, what are you doing? Why is this a political grab instead of really looking at women's rights are under attack, and that we as women need to stick together, especially in the era of Trump that we're living in, to change this culture. We have a Supreme Court that's not for us, and all politics is local. And if we don't control the local narrative, what are we doing?
Joe, your thoughts?
It's difficult to believe, Donnie. So I'm with you. But I do know it goes beyond just the what's stated and what's obvious, that this person wouldn't be able to vote. There are political motivation behind it that was revealed by once council chair Calvin Hawkins. That okay, they formed this block of six against what is a block of five, and so this gives them a chance, the individuals in the minority bloc, a chance now to get some of their bills passed through the county council, which is probably the devious strategy behind this whole move. And the person, you have to look at the source, who is guiding this. It's not Calvin by itself, it's the major developers in the county who can't get their projects approved. But for them to stoop low and remove this lady from her vote, take her vote away so that they can get bills passed for individuals who do not look like me or you in the county is about as low as you possibly can go, Donnie. You see, look, you see my background, right?
I see the gun.
That's the Harriet Tubman gun. All right, so this really takes us back to Harriet Tubman's time when she couldn't get the Negroes to go with her because they were too afraid to stand up by themselves. So she would take that gun and you wouldn't go with her. You just stay there, but you wouldn't be living with you at the end of the day. So we have a council in Prince George County that's not the council that the voters elected. They are now controlled by major developers.
Philosophically, Lisa, what does it say about a county well known to be one of the most lucrative places for Black people in the sense of, I mean, you've heard it many times, Prince George's County, richest Black county in the country, or among the richest Black counties in the country. What does it say when our politics are a little off keel or a lot off keel?
Well, it says that we still have a lot of work to do. And, what the fight right now is against individuals that are changing the conversation, the narrative, the politics and policy. These young people are engaged in making sure that the public stays informed of how business is being done so that it can change. And they're raising hell about it. I mean, literally, when you look at the Hawkins and the Harrisons and Mel Franklins of the county, they're dying dinosaurs. I mean, they're literally fading out. Their style of policy, their politics, they're fighting to hold on tooth and nail to their, not just their jobs, but to the old way of doing business, which is why young people don't want to vote, why they feel that voting is useless. And, we're working tooth and nail to change that narrative, that your vote count, that literally it matters. And this is why it matters, because, it's changing, and they're holding on, fighting tooth and nail to try to prevent that change from taking place.
Lisa, I think back to Annapolis and how hard the three of us fought for blacks to move up the pole all the way to the top.
Correct.
Now what? We've got a black governor. We've got a black woman county executive. She now wants to be U.S. Senator. We have shown that people with a past can still make strides. We've shown that returning citizens are worthy of the vote, of voting. Have we forgotten where we've come from?
I don't think we've forgotten where we come from. Uncle Tom and Jim Crow still exists. You're always going to have that gatekeeper, I believe. And,
I just got to jump in here. Uncle Tom was actually a good character, Josiah Henson. He was demonized by white media to muddy his name, Harriet Beecher Stowe and all of that stuff. But I get it. Sambo might be more appropriate.
Yeah, right.
Or Step and Fetch It or Huckabuck. But the sellout slave is your point.
The sellout slave, my boy Bruce Branch would say Django. Let's just look at the movie Django.
I never watched it because I couldn't stomach it, Quentin Tarantino. But I got you. We got you. Just wanted to be historically accurate. I know we have some brainiacs watching this show.
Yeah, indeed. So, when you have gatekeepers, those that only work to benefit themselves, this is the result. Because if those individuals were working for the people, wouldn't be an issue of fighting for Black women's health or women's health, period. It wouldn't be an issue of voting to support virtual voting. It worked during COVID. It's no reason why it should be an issue with an individual having the ability to continue to do business virtually, especially when you're looking at a complicated pregnancy or someone that's dealing with chronic health issues. I don't understand it at all. Well, I do, because I understand gatekeeper mentality. However, the push right now, and I think what we're seeing is a shift in the atmosphere, a change in the culture of the way that politics is being done. And that unfolding with the birth of social media is what we're witnessing. Calvin Hawkins screaming at a pregnant woman that literally, don't play victim now. You're pregnant. You're having complications. You can't, you can barely walk. You've seen this woman being taken out in an ambulance from the county council administration building. What more evidence do you need? Yet alone, we shouldn't have to prove that we have complications. It literally is shameful to see a county council representative at large at that screaming at a pregnant woman that this is a political grab. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, are you serious? So that shift, and this guy wants to run for county executive. So, literally, if he didn't just kill himself, every person that support him that's an elected official should lose their seat. Because if you're supporting individuals that think like this dinosaur way of thinking, they shouldn't get a promotion to county executive or anything else or any other position within government. This is crazy.
Has he had a good track record up until this point?
Personally, I don't think so. Before this new council was elected, and the new individuals I'm referring to, Walla Begay, Ed Barrows, Crystal Oriata, and Tom DeNagro has always been there. along with Eric as well. I mean, what you saw last December was a move for them to try to silence the voice of the people before this group even took their oath of office. So there's a track record of Hawkins and Mel Franklin trying to increase taxes on the people of Prince George's while folks are sleeping, out shopping at Christmas. I mean, literally, their style of politics is shameful. It is not worthy of the vote of the people. And literally, you know, they do not deserve a promotion to other elected offices. Just like, what are we doing? And the whole thing is they take advantage of the ignorance of the people. Most of the voters are not engaged as we are in politics every day, watching and policing and holding them accountable. It's just not at the front of something they feel that they should do. When people cast their votes, they're trusting that we're voting for someone that's going to carry our vote and best represent us as a body of people, as residents, as taxpayers. That's not what's happening with that crew, and it hasn't happened with that crew. So, you know, I'm looking forward to pushing this agenda of Black women's health that I hope would not would prove to literally help to eradicate this illness of systematic racism, systematic misogynistic behavior that's in our politics today.
Joe, I'm floored. You've been quiet, Joe. Help me out. Lisa's not playing.
I wish I could, right? Well, the bottom line is they came back after a council session and stated that they were still not going to support resolution which would allow her to vote. Instead, they came back with a proposal that would create 5 wild card virtual dates. And those dates could be used by any county council person so that they could have a vote at those 5 days. So if they were not there, then a vote would not take place in their absence. But also those 5 days would give them additional 5 days for vacation days or however they personally use that. That's the proposal that they're dealing with now in the county council, which is a disgrace to any governing body, a serious governing body, let alone a Black council. I want to repeat that. A county council that's controlled by Black folk will do such foolish things over the right to control the council for people that we don't even know about, who benefit from taxpayers' dollars, contracts in the county. They will be fools in the process and allow themselves to be used to do this. It's ridiculous, Donnie. I mean, we're in such a critical condition worldwide, and certainly in the U.S., that our next election for the president of the U.S. could go to a person who could completely destroy the country. And here we are, as Black, serious people, deemed at one time the most richest county in the state, in the country, and we're playing these stupid, idiotic games and being used as pawns in a system. So, you know, to me, I don't know how you wake people up like that. I don't know. I don't think Harriet Tubman could have dealt with these people. But the struggle continues.
You know, Lisa, this is a great segue. 15 minutes from you is the first Black woman vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris. You alluded to the rise of Black women. We've noted Angela Alsobrooks. We've noted Kamala, but Coco Gauff, was it Coco
Yes.
Gauff? In various sports, in business, women are shattering glass ceilings. Starbucks, American Express. Is this a step back, and is it a step back by our own on Black women?
It really is a step back. That's, the real shameful part of it. I mean, I follow the money. I understand individual campaigns must be financed, that it's hard to compete, yet alone raise capital in the era that we're living in. But even with following the money and feeling that you're beholden to those that support you, the largest support comes from your voter base. So when you
Yes.
feel to recognize that you work for the people, when you really fail to do what your campaign promises, when you fail to execute those things, then we're retreating. We're not going forward. There's not a forward movement here. And the sad part about that is other capitalize on that and literally push out there, why should you vote Black? Why should you support women? We've done that, and look what it's got us. I mean, we've heard the narrative even with Barack Obama. Like, what has he done for us? And knowing that he's done more than any sitting president ever.
Okay.
So, like, are you serious?
Email you the link.
So, and I agree with you 100%, Lisa, on that. We'll find that while we're playing these idiotic games, we have a younger group of individuals, generation, what is the new generation? Generation Z, is that it? Or do we have another one? But however, it's coming up behind us, and we are destroying their futures because we're leaving them with no economic base. We're turning the government taxpayers' money over to individuals who are blind and who are only concerned about themselves and how much salary they can make in that particular position. But the bottom line is that even if they are on that county council, they are going to collect that $200,000 a year anyway, whether I vote for a person or person's bill, zoning bill, whether I give a contract to a certain person because they help my campaign. You're going to receive that salary anyway. It's you have accountability to the people. So you don't have accountability to 25 or 30 or a handful of major developers that tell you what you need to do and why you need to do it, and that I'm not going to support you for county exec when you run if you don't do that. That's what you call, as my friend has said, bought and paid for. That is ridiculous in terms of our people. And it's embarrassing for me to be a Black person.
Do you think some of us have passed our prime in terms of being out front? This question was brought to me really about Baltimore. A supporter of mine, a younger brother, said, he pointed out how we have had these iconic Black figures in Baltimore politics, but when you ask who they passed the ball to, there's no one. We're being joined by Irvin Bernard Reed. We'd like to welcome you to the Donnie Glover Show. Irvin, good morning.
Good morning,
How are you, Irvin?
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning to you.
Great morning.
Can
Donnie,
y'all hear me?
Yes.
Folks, strap in your seatbelts. It's about to get live.
Hey, Donnie. Yeah, Donnie, I just wanted to say something about the situation with the whole Black woman thing and all of that. That has nothing to do with the situation with Crystal. After the pandemic, they keep. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Hello? Yeah, no, what I'm saying is after the pandemic, the council voted to no longer have virtual meetings. That's what they voted. And then when Crystal got sick, and then they wanted to undo the vote they did before. When Crystal Oriado ran against Rodney Streeter, Rodney Streeter was dealing with health problems for about 2 years, including during the election, and he was the incumbent. And one of her platforms is that he was not around and he was not available. So, I mean, let's just tell the whole story.
I can respond to that, Donnie. Black leadership perishes because the individuals who have elected them are not serving the people. And so to pretend that at the end of the day, for whatever reason you want to pretend, that this issue is something that is not what the public sees is illogical. I said, you asked me earlier when I supported West for governor, and you asked me after the election whether I was happy with his first months in jail. I'm sorry, it could be possibly jail because I would say that's what it is. It's probably the proper terminology, but what I said, and I always say this to anybody that is elected. I was proud to vote you in, but it's up to you to earn that seat again. So with each of these elected officials that we're talking about today who voted, and the people being aware, the people will make a decision, no matter how we frame it, on whether you deserve to be in again, or whether it is something that is masked, but in the end, the truth comes forward, no matter where it is, whether it's at the gubernatorial level, whether it's the county executive level, whether it's at the county council level, whether it's the president of the country, the truth comes out. So we will see whether that's true, Brother Irvin. What you said, whether it's true. I personally don't think that that's the truth.
And Joe, that's what I like about politics, and people do. I do believe people need to run on their record, and I'm proud of the record that Calvin Hawkins has done. I'm proud of the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we fed during the pandemic. We were out almost every day. He worked with the churches and all of that. People keep talking about this development stuff in the council. There are 11 people in the state of Maryland, only 11 people in this entire state that can't take money from developers. And those are those 11 council members. So where's the money coming from and doing all of that? No, the people are making decisions on what they think makes sense. But I can tell you this, they can't accept money. It's illegal for them to accept money for a developer's project and vote on that project. So we keep talking about the money, the facts and all of that, but no, we got to put what's factual that's out there. In Calvin's record, he has an excellent record. And I'm going to be glad to run on his record. Can't wait to do it. When he first ran for at-large, Calvin got attacked by the progressives, who these young people that Miss Ellis is talking about. He got attacked by this ticket. Mike Miller said, "You will not be council member." So we went against everybody in the middle and still won. And now he has a record that we're extremely proud of and can't wait to run again.
You know, Mr.
But
Reed,
to sit here and say that they're getting paid by developers, that's not true.
Mr. Reed, I really would encourage you to pull the campaign finance records and follow the money. I mean, literally, no one is saying anything that's not. I would never put something out there on someone that's not true or not accurate, or that literally I haven't followed myself. And when you look at currently the development issue, you have the county plan for development in Prince George's, that development for townhouses in particular, that's been done outside of the council's plan. I'm not directing that solely to Calvin Hawkins, but Calvin Hawkins, Mel Franklin, Sidney Harrison has been a major part of pushing the agenda of developers opposed to those of the people. And literally, on more than one occasion, the public had to stand up, protest, advocate against policies that laws that they were pushing that was not in the best interest of voters. So standing on his record, how many people he fed during the pandemic, the country came together during the pandemic to help one another. I'm not dismissing the work that he's done. Kudos to that. But when you're looking at representing the voice of the people, that's in a declining, that's a slide. I mean, if my brother was doing what he was elected to do, I will be all champion behind him and rah-rah and supporting him and clapping my hands, as well as getting out there and actually doing the work. But that's not what's being done right now. And quite frankly, I would not encourage individuals to support or vote for people that's actually standing against Black women's health. And that's exactly what this virtual voting is. He said it. He said clearly that Crystal should not act, don't play victim now when you're trying to literally use your vote to block us in passing laws that we want and passing issues that we want to get passed on the council. So that's how could a woman use her health to literally be a political grab, and instead of just literally recognizing that we need support, that we have the greatest fatality of prenatal health, and come on. I mean, what are we doing here? Black women's health has been the greatest attack. It's under the greatest attack in this country. And we listen to Calvin Hawkins basically scream and bash a Black female on the council and give him a pass. That's a hell no.
Well, first of all, Ms. Ellis, name me, since you into the financial reports and we can talk fact, name me one developer on his financial reports. It's illegal for them to give them money. No, developers can't give the county council money. If they do, they got to recuse themselves. There is no developer on his financial report.
Sir, if I had the campaign finance report in front of me, and literally I cannot drill down and will not attempt to call names and do a follow the path right now, because I don't have that report in front of me to intelligently to speak from it. But you can look at behavior, you can look at the votes, you can look at how much development that is taking place in District 6, District 7, and basically follow the path, follow the money.
Well, no, look, Lisa, this is the deal. You can't get, you made a statement that on his financial report, there were developers. I'm telling you, the county council cannot take money from developers. That's a law. They can't do it and recuse themselves. At one point, it was the county council and the county exec. About 4 years ago, that law got changed and included the county, eliminated the county exec. So she then could take money from developers, but the county council can't. Most of your developments that you're seeing going up in Prince George's County, quite frankly, were in the pipeline long before Calvin got in office. It takes years and years to get a project through. The whole townhouse law, that was changed by that was put on the table until they wanted to do a study to see how that affected. Development is a long-term project. You just don't do a townhouse development in 4 years. No, that happened a long time before. So if they wanted to stop, they had an opportunity, this council, these 6 individuals that you're talking about, the new ones, Crystal and all, yeah, but they tabled that. You know why they tabled that? Because they needed to study before you just stop construction. If you're in a jurisdiction and there are no cranes in the air, then your jurisdiction is in trouble. You go in DC or major cities, you see cranes everywhere. That's why they're thriving. So no, I mean those are facts. But you're going to make a statement about developers paying him money, and I'm telling you that ain't a fact. We could come on. You can go get the report, and we can come on this one tomorrow. He can't take money from developers.
Sir, we know how creative, we know how creative that individual businesses and developers have gotten over the years. I mean, this is not new. We do know that development plans are done well in advance, years and years in advance, and they extend 5 to 10 years out. What we are discussing is just that the development plan that was approved have not been implemented according to the plan. And why they haven't been implemented according to the plan is because of individuals on the county council that has helped the zoning approvals to move forward outside of the current plan. How is that done? Why is it done? Follow the freaking money.
Okay, well, show me the money. You said this is what you said. You said on his financial report there were developers on his finance. That's what you said. I'm telling you that is not true. Now you're telling me there's ways to get creative.
Exactly.
What ways are there to get creative then?
Because they are creative. Because
But
literally,
then just show me how he got creative. Show me how he got creative. You're not talking facts.
I'm not speaking
I'm
how, and I am telling you facts, and I am literally,
okay.
As I am saying, as I have said, that you have to. Let me see how I can give an example of this. I remember some years ago when Rashawn Baker ran for office, and I can't think of what that group was called. Something One. At any rate, you had Southern management that used all of their properties individually to contribute to this particular campaign fund. So was it legal? Yes, individually they could, and this was before the law changed. But my purpose in saying this is that individual businesses and development has gotten creative, and they will continue to be creative in how they make contributions to campaigns and to control the development that's happening and have happened in the county. So what we're seeing presently is a result of that. Overdevelopment in District 6 and 7 is a direct result of that. And literally, how could you explain a plan, the plan for the county that has been done years ago, not implemented in accordance to the plan?
Joe, let me just get you to step in here for a second. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I will. I'll gladly do that. What we're talking about is not just I hand you the money and there it is and you got paid to do that. I mean, obviously politics is not like that. They have a level of sophistication. There are individuals who have served on the council who have been appointed to positions after they leave the council because they did the right things for certain developers in the county. And you can look at them. You can look at the last council members who came off of the council and see where they are. You can look at the major trash contracts in the county, look at the major development projects that are coming up before the county council and the county exec, money that's going to be allocated in large numbers over the next 3 to 4 months, and who votes on what and why they vote for that. But we know that no, I can't go to jail on this one. So what I have to do is protect myself. Even developers are smart enough to see that game. They're not going to give you the money up front. So, Urban, while we're saying that the individuals are clever in terms of hiding how they gain access to these monies, there's always tomorrow that you can pay me. And what does pay me mean to individuals? That means that I got a job, that I go work for the micro companies after I leave government or go work for some of the other major developers. Is that what it means? I'm asking you, because you know the development game. You've been here a long time, and I understand your role in making individuals into political leaders. But at one particular point in time, this is what you cannot control. You cannot control the moral and integrity of those individuals that you're supporting. And community activists can. That's our job, to make sure at the end of the day that this shit adds up for the people. It's got to add up.
Wilbert Wilson has a book out entitled "The Power That Never Came." It is about your beloved county, gorgeous Prince George's County, and he writes about the optimism and hope going back to the days of Wayne Curry. Of course, Irvin, you worked on that campaign like no other. When I see the three of you, I see so much power. I see governors. I know that you have made county executives, you have made governors, and I'm just hoping that offline this conversation can continue, because there are young people watching us. There are some, Lawan Stribling, Kenneth Clark here, and they're watching how we interact. And somehow we've got to pull this together, Irvin Reed.
Donnie, and I work with young folk, young elected officials. I sit down with anybody that wants to run for office. I sit down with them because I'm trying to get our political campaign managers and so forth to understand the game as well. But you got to understand the history of this whole finance thing. When Wayne Curry ran for office, he couldn't take developer money, but he could be put on a slate. And a slate would include him and people that a state senator and state delegate. But then they could give money, so he could get people to give money to a slate. Rashern Baker, after Jack Johnson, tied the knot on how county council members and the exec could take money. And they tied the loop. There is no way for them to take money. The loop is clear. They can't do it. At one point, Jack Johnson could, but then when Rashern got in, he tied that loophole. So for someone to say that they did do that, or someone to make an assumption about, well, if they're getting around it this way or that way, I'm saying it, then tell it. I mean, just tell the facts, tell the truth. Let's not make accusations about everybody that just because you're in office, Rodney Streeter, he's no longer on the council. He lost, but he's not working for the development community.
I don't believe that's what's saying. And Rashern actually passed that law after he created his own fund, the fund that we're talking about. I really just cannot think of what the name of that fund was that financed it. And we do know that PACs can contribute, and often companies, big money, hide behind PACs. So there are ways where we're not talking about the impossible here. We see it, we know that it exists, and it's just that the larger public doesn't have any idea of how it's done. You just see the end result that it happens, that it is done. It is not an accusation. It's evident. It's apparent in the overdevelopment, in the way that the vote are going, the secrecy, the timing and execution of the votes of votes that they're trying to pass here.
Irvin, let me just ask you a basic question.
Okay.
Do you think?
Go for it. Okay.
Do you think the councilwoman, and say her name because I don't want to mess up her name.
Crystal Oriata.
Do you think she deserved a chance to vote? She's got a baby in her belly. Do you think she should be able to vote virtually?
I do.
It is.
But I'm not on the council, and the council
Irvin, you wield a lot of power.
No, Donnie, look. I don't agree with everything elected official. I didn't agree with everything Wayne Curry did. I didn't agree with everything Mary Smoke did. I didn't agree with everything Angela Alsobrooks and she. But all I'm saying to you is this: the county council voted to no longer have virtual calls. That's what they voted on. This had nothing to do with women. Crystal ran against Rodney Streeter, who spent 2 years with medical issues on the fact that he wasn't available to his constituents. So that's I'm just stating the facts. But the facts, when people start making accusations, when Wayne was in office, I lived in the newspaper. You know why? Because Irvin was a crook. Irvin was a thief. No, Irvin did none of that. But people were making accusations. I'm saying when you state a fact, if you're gonna say he had developers giving him money on his finance report, tell me who they are. If you're gonna tell me that he's gonna break the law and work with a PAC, just so y'all know that if you run a campaign and there's a PAC, there can be zero communication. That's illegal. You go to jail for that. And I can tell you this: that ain't never. First of all, no PAC supported Calvin. And I'm damn sure not going to talk to anybody and go to jail and work with a PAC. They can do what it is that they want to do. But the city,
Urban, I 1,000,000% agree. You are not going to put yourself in a position to go to prison. We know much better than that. I do not see you going to prison.
But if someone's going to make an accusation, we're getting around this, or he's going to get around that by doing this, that, and the other. I'm saying that's not true. Let's just state facts. Let's just state what we know. If we know something, let's say it. But to sit here and make it, well, these people do it or those do it or whatever, that's unfair to folks that are doing a good job. And you know me, Don.
Lisa, he's got a point. We have to bring facts. We have to come correct. Because Calvin Hawkins could be, is he likely to be the next county executive in Prince George's, or is it more so Aisha Braveboy? State's attorney.
I believe if he runs, it's him, but that's my belief.
Yeah, he's pretty strong.
But hey, Donnie, they said Wayne Curry had no shot at all. He won. They said Calvin Hawkins couldn't win. He ran against the Mike Miller. Mike Miller said, "There's no way in the world you're going to win. I'm going with A, B, C, and D." And then the progressives came in. And guess what? He won.
You're right.
That's just my belief. So, we all got beliefs.
Speaking of those young guns, now, Irvin, I got to give you your credit. You brought to this table right here Richard Deshae Elliott. You sent Martin Mitchell. We knew Colin Bird. What is the future like? I mean, we see Kenneth Clark here commenting. Tell us about those young lions. Let's just shift gears for a minute and focus on your legacy as a political director. What is the future?
I love these young. I love them because they're independent. I like the fact that they speak out. I like the fact that they do their homework. I love Ed Barrows. Yep. I love Waller Blagate. Yeah, I don't have a personal vendetta against anybody. And I just think that with their energy, the way they campaign, I love. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think Prince George's is in great hands. I believe, and you know me, Donnie. You and I go back. I'm not an
You've been a long supporter of these young people, and that is the God's gospel truth.
Yeah, because I believe they are the future, and I think that they're great. Like I say, they're hardworking. They understand politics. They understand somewhat. Unfortunately for them, and for a lot of people in Prince George's, they don't really understand the history of Prince George's because there's not a lot written about it. Unfortunately, Wayne didn't write a book. Mike Miller didn't write a book. None of them left that, so there's a lot missing.
What about you? What about you? You were there going back to the days of Larry Gibson. Why don't you write a book?
I'm writing a book on my next journey. And as you know, I'm a mathematician, so STEM is my thing. And I didn't have role models, so that's where my whole energy
now is. You are the role model, Irvin.
Yeah, no, I said I didn't have any black role models in STEM. So that's my my next mission. Yeah.
See, this is the politician in you. Joe Gaskins, who's the next county executive there in Prince George's County?
If I call it today, it's Aisha Braveboy.
Why do you say that?
I'll say because I've gone to fundraisers and events with Aisha, and she blows out the room. She has that dynamic that Jack had when he ran. She pulls from everybody, every ethnic group, there. She has she has honesty, she has integrity, and she would be the better person, my feeling, for the county exec race. That's just my personal feeling. But I think she will outwork whoever runs against her, whether it's Calvin, whether whoever is there. And I see a momentum that's beginning to develop that you need in order to win that particular race. I see it coming with her, and I don't see Calvin having that. Now Calvin is a friend of mine, but I got to call the shots for what they are, and I've seen them happen. And he will have, from my perspective, the support of developers in the community, but the developers are not going to go to the polls and pull those levers that's necessary to get there. So that's my call.
Lisa, do you think some of us have been around too long in politics?
Yes, absolutely. And I believe that you should have a constant change in guard um, to guard against that grab, that stronghold that big money has in politics right now. I did support Calvin Hawkins during his first run because I believe that he was the best choice, and had the energy to make change in Prince George's that was needed. Since then, things are what they are. I believe that Aisha Braveboy has not changed her stripes. She has been a consistent fighter for on the side of people. Her integrity is just incredible. She's constantly in the community, and she literally passes policies and give back to the voter. She understands that she works for the people and not the other way around. That's the individual that would get my vote. I believe that, the community sees her in that light. And that's the type of elected officials that we need in the days and time that we're living in.
Anybody talking about minority business enterprise there in Prince George's County? MBE. That's something we all have fought for hard over the past several years. As long as I've known you, we've always talked about minority business enterprise. I hate the term minority. Where are we with that? Anybody?
Well, we have an issue. I don't want to stay on Prince George's, but I mean, throughout the state of Maryland, we know under Hogan, minority business enterprises have actually went under. We've lost more money. More businesses have closed their doors, not just due to COVID, but because they're not a part of the process. They're not gaining access to contracts. They don't have access to capital to help inject capital into their businesses. So it's going to be interesting right now. MDOT has a survey that they're conducting right now to basically see what the status or state of minority businesses is. I know that in Prince George's right now, you have DPI that's actually forcing Black businesses to shut their doors. So are we moving forward with supporting minority business enterprise, or are we like women's rights going backwards?
And Donnie, I want to go back a little bit um, to MGM, and because I think that's a cornerstone project that was a bit too big to fail project that was brought into Prince George County, garnered all the political support that you possibly could have. And for those individuals who are the younger individuals, they don't know what went on there on that particular project. But I was the face of MGM, and after MGM was successful, and we spent many years fighting them to force them to bring minority participation to the table in some substantial capacity, and we just didn't focus it on as a whole the word minority. Our focus on was the African American population because the African American business community made up the majority of Prince George County, and we felt that they should get an even shake. It didn't happen because the language in the community benefits agreement was changed to add 51 different ethnic groups to the definition of a minority there. So basically, if you followed that 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 as a guide to who was a minority, the owners of MGM were minorities. I repeat that the owners of MGM was minorities and could be classified as a minority group. So I think today we still have that fight. It's now being attacked on a federal level, and the position that we're in with the Supreme Court uh, sends us in a downward spiral. So any program that we are putting in place could be challenged if it has a race-based concept attached to it. It could be in jeopardy. Even the federal programs are being challenged in that fashion. So we're in a very difficult space. So the reality of where we are, because we didn't gain from MGM, we forced them. We forced them. I repeat, I'm proud of what's there at MGM and National Harbor, but they would not have a degree of success have had not been the outside um, effort that was put on by minority business boycotting, challenging them at every turn that they made, even when our county council wouldn't stand up and our county executive wouldn't stand up. We stood up. And we paid the price for that. I paid the price for 20 or more years of being blackballed in Prince George County.
You and Irvin both have been whiteballed before.
Right, absolutely, in the county, and everything that we built was targeted to be torn down. But you could tear down the physical things, but you can't tear down the spirit of the individual, Donnie. That goes on, and with everybody who's listening to this this show today, that's your moral character. You live with it, you carry it, and at the end, it will take you to success. And success is not necessarily a physical thing that you can't take with you. And we got to remember that at the end of the day. But we have a responsibility to make sure that everybody participates fairly in the economic progress of Maryland, Prince George's, and the U.S.
Irvin, you understand being on the outside. I mean, you've been vocal and you paid the price. Just like Joe, for years, you had some mean white boys who talk smack to you on top of that. Mike Miller.
Oh, especially Mike. I've had the FBI come to my door because, things like that. I've seen it all. And I will like to compliment Joe, because Joe has been one of those people from the day I met him in Prince George's County. He was there long before I was, but he has always been consistent in for Black business and constantly fighting for Black business. And I respect, everything he's done. And again, with me, Donnie, just so that I ran Wayne Curry, and I'm not saying I agree with everything that Wayne did. And I ran Calvin Hawkins. I'm not saying I agree with everything that Calvin does, because I'm my own independent self. I love guys like Ed Barrows. Ed Barrows is one of my favorite elected officials. I think the young man's got a great future. I think he's going to be county exec one day. So I'm not one that's in and out or whatever. I'm just going to call it like I see it, because I know what it's like to have the president of the Senate, call you tell that bald head bastard I'm a effing. These are the type of messages that I've got dealing with Wayne, but it's all good. It's politics. So, but yeah, Joe, I mean, if you want to know about minority business in Prince George's and Maryland, he the guy to go talk to, because he took the hits and still taking hits. And but no, I think the problem with Prince George's, the biggest problem with Prince George's is Black folk have never come together to work together. When Wayne won,
That's
no,
never, ever.
nah, not in this county. You had when Wayne won, I was super excited because you had Wayne, the first black county exec. You had Al Wynn, the first black congressman, and you're gonna have Jack Johnson. So these three black men, I'm saying we're gonna get in the room and show the world what it's all about. And dude, it was just the total opposite. You couldn't get them in a room without a fight breaking out. And so we've never come together. And a lot of things that happen in Prince George's
But
County.
Urban, we are up against black people are 13% of the population. Just like in Baltimore, Prince George's County, we have to expect the hardest attacks ever from white supremacists who are afraid of this power right here. You've got to know that we've done well with limited numbers. And when you think of the intelligentsia in our community, it's even smaller. This is a very special group on this show right here, because between the four of us, we influence a lot of people.
And Doni, and I agree. And Lisa, I hope you and I could be friends because we don't really know one another. But
I want you to take her for coffee. I want the two of you to have coffee.
We can do that because together we're better. But I just want people to understand is the facts. And lets everybody put their record on the table and go from there. But like I said, the Gang of Six, I like the Gang of Six. I like everybody. We need everybody to come together, because the bottom line, this, Donnie, I'm from Cherry Hill. That's the only community I care about. Yeah, our community.
Oh, you love Prince George. Stop that, Irv.
No,
you love DC too.
Prince George's and DC have their Cherry Hills, but like I told you, I didn't vote for Obama the second time. He didn't tell me what he was going to do for us. So no, I'm not in it to be in it. I'm in it for the little guy. Yeah, I mean, just like Lisa said, people need to show their records, then we vote. That's why at this point I'm not voting for Biden. Kamala's got to show me something. Her record ain't what I like. But no, I'm not. Look. I don't have no political enemies.
I want to say this. We push voting on this show.
Okay.
So you got to vote for somebody.
Yeah. I'm going to vote for somebody, but I ain't going to vote for her. I can't do it.
I love it. And I respect you, Irvin. I mean, just totally.
You're all giants.
We can agree to disagree. I mean, in all sincerity. And I honestly, as I stated, I would never put my mouth on something that I couldn't prove. I don't have the records in front of me to intelligently speak to it. So I'm going to back off of that until otherwise. But literally, I am for the under guy. I am an activist to my core. I believe in supporting people that look like us. But when people that look like us are not doing their part and not standing with us, but literally being gatekeepers, then I'll work to bring it down, because that's what we should do. We should, if we're going to empower our next generation, my children, my grandchildren, my community, then we have to eradicate the ills in politics or work towards it. That may never happen in my lifetime, but I would die knowing that I'm resting peacefully, that I've tried, that I put forth truth, that I did not mask the truth, that I put forth what I believe that's in the best interest of our community as a whole, not just what my personal opinions are. I'll state those, but literally what's the opinions and the desire of the community is what matters most.
Ask Peter Francho about it, Irvin Bernard Reed. Ask Peter Francho. My name's Donnie Glover. This has been a wonderful show, and I can't wait to hear about your coffee. And in case any campaign finance reports, then we'll bring that to the table. But I am proud of you all.
So Donnie, you're gonna have to text me Lisa's number.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Good morning, world.
All right. Thank you all.
Goodbye.